choosing the right books for your children is the best way to spark their imagination, encourage learning, and instill the love of reading in them. But with so many books out there, how do you choose the right books for your children that will suit their interests and their age? In this video, I'll give you some tips that will help you choose books that will not only entertain your children, but will educate and inspire them. When choosing books for your children, there are two major factors to be considered: their age and their reading level. Basically, when it comes to reading books, choosing books for your children, let me categorize them into four groups. The 0 to 3 year olds, those are babies and toddlers. Those ones, they don't read on their own, so most of the time you read for them, and probably you give them to look at pictures. Some of the books may just be picture books. So when you're choosing, choose odd books that can't be torn easily, because children, they are fond of, if they don't know what they are doing with babies, they can tear it, but if it's something like this, it will be difficult for them to tear. And also buy books that will be that will be fun to read out loud, because for those children, they are not ready, so you're the one that will read to them. So if they are fun to read out loud, it will entertain the children while they learn. The next group are the preschoolers, the children between the ages of 3 to 5. Those ones, you buy colorful picture books that have very simple um, stories, and the illustration has to be very colorful to keep them engaged. And it has to have repetitive language so that the children will repeat certain words so many times in the book. And by the time they finish reading that book, they will be used to pronouncing and reading those words aloud. The next group of children are the early readers. Those ones are children between the ages of 5 to 7. For those ones, you buy short chapter books with large fonts and very simple vocabulary that will be easy for them to read. For those ones between the ages of 8 to 13, you buy chapter books with complex stories and very thin. Please, when you're choosing books for your children based on age, please, you have to take into consideration the fact that not all children of the same age start reading at the same time or can read at the same pace. So for 2 5-year-olds, one may be a fluent reader while the other one will be struggling. So if your child is in the group of the struggling 5-year-old who can't read very well, please do not compare that child with the one that can read very fluently. Because if you do that, you will kill their confidence. They will lose confidence in themselves. Encourage them and choose books within their reading level. And before you know it, they'll be able to read as fluent as the other 5-year-old. If you take into consideration your child's reading level, then you'll be able to pick a book, even though the book may be lower than their age. They'll be able to, you will pick a book that is below their age group, but that is within their reading level. So if you want to use the reading level to pick a book for your child, you may want to use the 5-finger rule. This rule says that if you want to buy a book for your child, open a random page in that book. If you ask your child to identify words on that page that they don't know. If your child identifies only one or two words on that page, then that book is too easy for that child to read. But if your child identifies 2 to 3 words on that page that they do not know, then that book is a good fit for your child. But if your child identifies between 4 and 5 words on a particular page that they don't know, then that book is too difficult for them. So please, when you're picking a book, you can use this rule. It helps a lot. There are other factors to be considered when you're picking books. The child's interest. Different children have different interests, so you should know what your child is interested in. Some children love fairy tales, some children love science fiction, some love sports books. So you might want to look into that when you're picking books for your children. Also, children like to read books that are relatable. It may be an imaginary character, but if a character in a book resonates with a child, if a character has hopes and aspirations, then your child is likely to read that book till the end, because your child will want to know how the life of that character turned out at the end of the book. Another thing to consider when you're picking books for your children is are the values that the children will learn in that book. Opt for books that your children will learn from, be it their Christian values, being compassionate, being determined, having courage. There are also books too that teach children numbers and colors without the children even realizing they are learning those things. So please, if you're buying books, make sure that there are things that will be learned in that book, that your children are not just reading those books to be entertained, but they are learning without even realizing that. And finally, when you're choosing books for your children, do not force your choice of books on those children. Allow your children to choose books that they like. Do not expect your children to like the books that you read as a child. Your child may not want to read what you read. So please, the only thing you need to do when it comes to choosing books for your children is to guide them. Do not force them to read what they do, because reading is meant to be fun. So if your child sees reading as a chore, or yes, as a chore, let me use that word for lack of a better word, then your child will not fall in love with reading, and you will not like that. Thank you.